mamas. I've done it before, but I don't really enjoy nitpicking on the town idiots of various places that find themselves in an online presence and just kind of pointing at them and saying, look at you, town idiot, you're being an idiot. But there's few cases where someone is so much of an idiot that I can't help myself. I just simply can't even resist the chance to talk about them. And B, they're not just the town idiot, but somehow transcend town idiot to like a national idiot almost. And even worse, people follow said national idiot off a cliff if he walked there. I'm talking about someone who I'm not going to mention by name. I'm going to come up with a funny nickname. Give me like 30 seconds. I'm going to beat around the bush and then eventually I'll say it. Who has surpassed levels of ridiculous that I didn't think were possible. He's a grifter. He will say anything to get a view, a click, a like, a share, a comment. I don't know why I just turned Italian. His name is, I got it now, Lavatory. It doesn't really work, but I have nothing else to go with.
So I'm taking Accutane. I use crystal meth, so methamphetamine, as a stimulant, and to lean max, right? It's very suppressant of your appetite.
I saw clips of this man here and there, and I also heard people in real life talk about him, which is one of the main reasons why I'm talking about him today, because he was in these weird corners of the internet. I somehow found myself in like my For You page was trying to red pill me recently, and they gave me all this like batshit crazy looks maxing content of people being like these dudes being like, I take 4,000 supplements, and I'm gonna get my jaw chiseled with a jackhammer in Istanbul next week, and that's what you need to be a Chad to get all the female boob. But I heard about this. So I saw this guy like in these circles and I was like, what a scary person. And then he crossed over into the mainstream, which was very rare. It wasn't someone that I expected to cross over from this like kind of like incel manosphere side of the internet to my like in real life people talking about this person and what they've been pushing. And it all came to a boiling point when this dude got on a podcast, and the interviewer, I don't really want to call him that because I'll get to that in a little bit, asked him like what he does to Looks Max, what kind of supplements that he's on. And he said, the gambit of things. He was like, I'm on testosterone, Cialis. And then what really got me is he said he's on crystal, and then the short word for mathematics, and replace the A with an E. And I hate to algo speak, but I don't think there's a reality where I can say that word without ramifications. Crystal math, thematics. He says he takes to hollow out his cheekbones. We're in a really strange time in society where it's, we bat an eye at it. We think taking crystal, the stuff they made in Breaking Bad in an RV in the desert, as like a recreational thing to look prettier, when generally the connotation with crystal mathematics is it makes you rip your skin off with your rotting fingernails and then take the clumps of skin and eat it and then die. Like, and this guy's sitting on a podcast being like, yeah, I take testosterone and I take a crystal mathematics to hollow out my jaw. So once again, I wouldn't talk about this dude if he wasn't absolutely like almost becoming like a protege of like the Andrew Tate type. And listen, the whole like comparing like bad man on internet to Andrew Tate is like so tired and like dead, but like I really don't know. I mean, I don't personally have that much experience on this side of things, so that's what first thing in my brain gravitates to. But let me break down like how this podcast went, because yes I did for the sake of this watch the entire 2-hour interview that Mr. Lavatory did on this guy's podcast. He first of all kind of talks about looks maxing, like what it means to him. He talks about how he started when he was like 16, started taking steroids. He like mentioned how his parents had to like try to take steroids away from him. He was like, "Mom, I'll kill myself. Like, don't take my steroids away." Which is totally normal for a 16-year-old to do. Actually, I say that like jokingly and being facetious, but actually might be a totally normal thing that 16-year-olds are doing now. Don't know. Don't want to know. And as he starts to talk about all these really drastic measures that he gets to looks max, which it, by the way, is so funny because look at his face, and think to yourself, how old is this man? I thought he was 30. I thought he was much older than me. That man is 19. That's a 19-year-old man, and he looks like he's almost 30. What the fuck? So like he talks about all the shit that he's doing, talking about how he does crystal meth, and then he says that he's like not worried about longevity. Like the interviewer's like, "Aren't you like worried about? Is anybody worried about their health?" And he's like, "No, I need to be the optimal. I need to be the optimal face." It's really perplexing. It's really perplexing. And you can kind of like start to understand his like neurosis, because he gets into these he starts to kind of describe his psyche. Like he says he's trying to work smarter and not harder. So like typically, say you wanted like a very slim physique, you want your waist to be snatched and and body fat percentage like 1%. You would drastically adjust your diet, go to the gym very frequently, do the classic, the good old methods that people would do to become shredded and develop borderline eating disorders at the gym. But no. He has to work smarter, not harder, and that means taking crystal mathematics and inject. Yeah, there's this other thing that he said he takes called peptides, which are some sort of injection that I don't even remember. I started blacking out. Like I had to like fucking snap myself back into reality. When I was listening to this podcast, I was like, how is this on YouTube? Like, how is this public on YouTube? What else did he say? He said he's going and doing limb lengthening surgery and getting jaw surgery in Istanbul. So he was like, yeah, man, like, typically, like, the Italian doctors are really good, but they're starting to not want to do some of these, like, more black pill surgeries, so I have to go to Istanbul, and currently they're making my new jaw. They're manufacturing my new jaw in a factory, and then I'm gonna fly to Istanbul in a few weeks, and they're gonna give me a new jaw. And then he was talking about how like he's getting, when he gets his legs broken, he's like, honestly, like I think every guy should do this, but the sad thing is, it's so much work that I don't think everyone will be able to. Like, he's like, I'm going to be in bed for like 3 weeks, and it's like a 6-month recovery period. Mind you, I don't know if you've ever heard of this surgery, but there is a surgery where you can get like, I think up to 3 inches on your height. And guess how they do that? You don't eat like a magic vegetable. It's none of that. What they do is they break both of your legs. They add, I think, bone from somewhere, and then slowly heal your legs. You can't even walk for a little while, and also you will never be able to run again. Like, your legs, I think, could like literally snap in half if you try to run, but you can never run again. And for like 6 months, basically, your legs are broken, like you're like wheelchair bound, until you can come back to it. But he justified it by saying that it's necessary because you need to stand out. And he kept referring, he almost like placed the blame of like these expectations that he has on himself for his looks on women. Like, he was like, women nowadays, they like will immediately price you out of the market if you're below 6'3", you're like females, females will set their Tinder and Hinge profiles to like 6'3" and taller. So if you're under 6'3", you don't even stand a chance. It's like, that's not really. I don't think that's happening. Don't think that's happening. But also, like, just don't go on Tinder or Hinge. Like, I don't know. But I don't think that's happening. And I don't think you need to break your legs. And mind you, I think this guy's already 6'3". So I don't know. He's trying to be like 6'5" or something. And yes, like, where I'll completely agree with him is like height has a major factor in dating. And your looks, of course, have a major factor in every single aspect of your life. He claimed this. I don't know if it's true, so please fact check it. But he was saying that like every inch past like 6'3" or something adds like a certain amount of money to like the average salary. Like taller people get like a higher salary than say like a dude that's like 5'4". You probably don't even need to fact check that. Like obviously like there are innate benefits to being more attractive and taller as a man in society. Like la di fucking da. And so that I think that's how he justifies doing these insane surgeries. And then there's this really funny moment where the host was like, did you have any traumatic moments in your childhood that led you to this? And he's like, wait, hold up. No, man, like, my childhood is really good. I just, I don't live in fairy tale land, and I know that I need to look smashing as much as I can so that, I can maximize my life. Also, there's this funny moment in it where he was like, the interviewer like asked what his IQ was, and he was like 110. The host was like, what's the average? And this laboratory guy was like, well, it depends on the race. You know, some races have higher or lower IQs. I'm like, okay, I see where we're at. And the funniest part about this whole podcast is he sponsored it himself. And I've never seen this before. This is a first for me. I've never seen someone guest on someone else's podcast and then sponsor that podcast with their own product. And what is his product, you might ask? Courses. When I do like this bit where I make fun of like people that move to Miami and sell courses, I'm thinking of this man. He's at the top of my mind. This guy just lives in Miami and sells like courses on how to look smacks to insecure men. And it's really depressing. So how do we get here? And you might think, okay, well, this is like an anomaly. This is like, you know, the sides of the internet where we think it doesn't exist. And there's like 3 people that follow him. This guy is huge. This guy is so notorious now. He's like actually hit the mainstream, and it's really scary because like at any level of like ironic relatability, or when people see like town gestures like this and we laugh at them and point at them, there is always a small percentage of people, and sometimes maybe even bigger than small, that look at that person and they see past the ironicness, or it just doesn't compute in their head, and they blindly follow them. I don't think it's a crazy thing to say that there will probably be men that start doing crystal mathematics because this guy said it hollows out your cheekbone. And it's like a snake oil salesman, how he kind of talks about it. He's like, yeah, like it like crystal mathematics is basically the same thing as, you know, what's in Adderall. It's just it crosses the blood-brain barriers, and like goes into all this like scientific speak. And there was people in the comments saying like, I'm a pharmacologist, and his knowledge is actually really adept for what he's talking about. It's a shame he's putting it to use in such a batshit bonkers crazy way. And also, I just find it's super perplexing to me because I have maybe swallowed 2 pills in my life. I will probably die before I have to. No, I will learn. I will learn one day. I've forced like literally maybe maximum 2 pills down my throat, and I almost threw them up. But I don't think I'll ever like beyond just like my little skincare lotions, like want to look smacks. That's not a desire that I have. You know, it's fun, for like a day to get to fucking guasha and like do stuff to and look a little bit more put together. But this looks maxing thing is it just a completely different reality. It's not even like the methods that people are doing to looks max. It's like this like bubble and like batshit crazy world that they've created around them, where they think that doing these things that, I won't speak for women, but I think are probably greatly unattractive. I think if you were courting a woman and they found out on the second, the third date that you're on crystal meth, I think they would maybe run for the hills. I think they would maybe call the police, call the DEA. Also, I just realized I'm wearing a hat that says "Do not Narcan me, I fly high," and that's not a coincidence, or that is a coincidence. It's so funny. I really do think there's like a crazy disconnect between like the reality that men live in and just reality in general, and how women view men, the reality of how women view men. Because I think so many men, especially people that are in these like black pilled looks maxing communities, think that like it is all just up to, and I mean, they point blank say like it's all up to like stats and metrics, like height. And like he would talk about how like making your height taller with like this surgery adds to his like percentile and like the rankings. It's like all very mathematic. And I think at the end of the day, what so many women want is just to be normal, to be nice, and you know what, be attractive in the way that a man can be naturally. Like I think I once again don't want to speak for women, and please, if I'm out of touch here, shout out in the comments. But I think it's probably very off-putting to see that much navel gazing come from like a man, like to be so focused on your own looks as a dude, where like your entire reality is just completely fucking dissolved and you're genuinely doing crystal math and thinking that that's what women want is so funny. It's so funny. It's almost comical. And I think that's why I'm talking about this with a big old giddy smile on my face, because I start to wonder, maybe it's actually just divine. Who was the guy with the island who looked at the birds? Oh my God, it's midnight and I can't form a sentence. The survival of the fittest. Darwinism. Almost forgot. Maybe it's Darwinism. Maybe the dumbest that we have will do crystal meth and ruin their lives so that they get taken out of the gene pool. And maybe that's for the best. It was crazy. What's crazy is I think this guy like has like a girlfriend and like I'm pretty sure he does, because I saw another TikTok saying that they like do like all the shit that he does, like I mean minus like the testosterone and stuff. Like he does the crystal meth and the peptides with his girlfriend, which is like imagine that is a date. Like she's like, hey honey, like you want to go see Zootopia 2? Like you want to go to Miami Beach? And he's like, get the crack pipe, baby. No, wait, I actually don't even know how meth is done. I don't even know how meth is consumed. Math. I don't know how math is consumed. Like is it like And another thing is, like, okay, I know I mentioned pills. I can't do needles either. Like, I remember there was this one time where my mom was like, or I think she, like, asked me, she's like, have you ever done a drug? In, like a fun, silly way. And I was like, I can't inhale anything because I will cough the rest of my life. Can't swallow pills. And I can't do needles. So what does that leave? And then I admitted, okay, never mind. We don't have to get into it. But okay, so it's a little bit silly, and I have laughed at it, but it is a little bit sad because the very existence of looks maxing is there because it preys off of young men's insecurities, the increasing like just feeling of not having control over your own life, especially in this like ultra capitalist world where not to tie everything into capitalist, not to be a friend that's too fucking woke, but it really is. When a man starts to feel like he's losing control of his life, whether like working in like a dead end job, the classic meme where it's like an empty apartment with like a sleeping bag on the floor, a PlayStation, and like a TV, and that's their life, and potentially like running into problems with courting women, not being able to have any romantic connections due to maybe being what's like perceived as ugly by society, or being short, or out of shape, or anything. They, instead of just trying to like either like better their situation in healthy ways, like normal exercise, or trying to, I don't know, like go to community college to get better jobs so that you aren't like working like a dead end job and like living in studio apartment with PlayStation and a sleeping bag. The way that it's almost like sold as like a cheat code to bypass all of that. Literally what this lavatory guy said, like work smarter, not harder. And they're sold these literally sold these courses by these guys to just have these looks-maxing cheat codes where you can like better yourself without bettering yourself. It's like putting like a band-aid over all the underlying issues that will make dudes like that make dudes like hate their lives. So it's really sad. It is really sad on the other side, and it's sad because so many people follow that. And it's like, I understand the attractiveness of it, because like, I mean, you look at this lavatory guy, he has like made videos where he shows like a before and after of like what he looked like before he looks max and what he looks like now. And like, although he looks fucking crazy for 19, like he literally looks like a 30-year-old in a 19's body, he does look like, you know, better a little bit, like in the male beauty standard way. Like he has that very kind of like Chad look, versus like the pictures. I mean, honestly, whenever people do like the like before and after, like this is my fucking gym glow up, they always pick like the worst possible picture of them as like a 13-year-old. It's like them as like a fat 13-year-old with like cystic acne, and then they like show them like later and they're like the lighting's perfect and they're in like their Equinox gym like mirror, and they're like, so always take those with a grain of salt. But no, people will see that and they will literally fucking follow it, and that's just a crazy thought. That's just a crazy thought that people will start doing crystal meth. Because like, listen, all the other is health, like pharmaceutical kind of hacks, like it's one thing, like the whole Ozempic psychosis, where like people see someone on Ozempic and then they get on Ozempic themselves, even though like none of them even need Ozempic. They'll be like literally just slightly above average weight and get on Ozempic and become like shells of themselves. Like, that's one thing, but like resorting to actual hard drugs that like I would run away from someone if I saw them on the street who was tweaking out on crystal meth, and like promoting that as like a health thing, and the same way you would promote like, I put what's the post say? I put the ordinary serum skin. Can I share my skin routine? Let me look max for you right now. Well, for one thing, I think that maybe I'm gonna hype myself up here, but maybe I look a little bit younger than I am because I hit puberty so fucking late. Let's talk about that looks maxing like half life hack. I hit puberty when I was like literally end of 16. So I was like 4 foot, like literally like 4 foot something by the end of and then it all happened so fast when I was like 17 and got to high school, and I grew like 2 feet, damn near almost, in like a year. I literally have stretch marks on parts of my body because I like grew so fast. And then my skincare routine is I use Aveeno SPF. I've been literally using it since I was like 14. And it's just a SPF 15 moisturizer, and it's $20 at Shoppers Drug Mart, and it lasts for literally 4 months. And but the annoying thing is I can only get it in Canada because the formula they make it in America is so fucking shit, and it's more expensive. So every time I go back to Canada, I stock up, but it's literally 120 milliliters, and I put it in my carry-on, so it's a gamble every single time, and it's been taken 3 times. So anyways, getting off track. I think the most looks maxing thing you can do in reality, the most attractive thing you can do for yourself, for when you put out for others, is to just like own your look. I feel like that's what gets people going the most. Like, if you're someone who is like constantly trying to like look good all the time and like just going like above and beyond to the point where like it looks uncomfortable for you and like looks unnatural, like this lavatory guy like freaking taking like 20 supplements a day and like going to get like an insane risky jaw surgery and like breaking his fucking legs, that looks and feels so much crazier than someone who is just like their normal self, and just like owning it, finding like a outfit that they love and they feel comfortable and like strutting around. Like, it's hard to describe, but it's like you can tell when someone is like comfortable in their own body and someone who is like desperately trying to change things. And I'm not saying that that's like a bad thing to try and change things. I think everyone could probably find something that they want to change about themselves. And some people do. Some people get plastic surgery, some people get fillers, some people do the whole gambit of things, and I don't want to demonize that, because like, although they're doing things that kind of conform to like a beauty standard, that's something external, that's something not within it. I think a lot of the time does or can help a hurting inside. And I know so many people that have gotten plastic surgery, have gotten fillers, and sometimes it makes them feel better and it makes them feel more confident. And fuck, sometimes they look, I'm like, okay, like, where did that jawline come? Where did you pull that jawline out of that double chin? I don't say that. That'd be so fucking mean. But, and then other times they spiral and it becomes an addiction. And, one filler shot isn't enough, and then their filler migrates and they look like they're made of fucking Play-Doh, and then they get more, and then they get veneers and they look like not human after a certain point, and then they age with all of that plastic in them, and then they actually look like the fucking monster from The Substance. If you want like a good kind of narrative allegory for this whole looks maxing thing, go watch The Substance. Just a great movie in general, but like literally I feel like that's the female version of this. But I also want to note that like women have always been like kind of forced to look smacks by society, but like it's interesting how men are approaching it. Like, there's this part in the podcast where he was talking about like just some of the techniques he does to like look smacks, and he was like, yeah, I get this like it's like a micro brow pencil, and the host like stops him. He's like, wait, dude, I thought you were like against makeup, and he's like, I'll do makeup. He was like, you just got to do makeup and not get caught. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, shut up. We've all lost our fucking minds. Also, I'm really scared that I've been really loud recording this, and my neighbor has knocked on my door recently telling me that I've been too loud. She was like, I have someone very ill at my house, so can you please keep it down? And here I go screaming. I don't know what kind of ill they might be. Maybe they just came back from China and got the fucking femur extension surgery. And I'm like, if you look smacked, you should die. And they're like actually recovering. Man, not to mention, okay, just into surgery things. Surgery is so huge and so big, and the amount of people that just die from getting BBLs from like a fucked up, like, listen, the healthcare system in the US is crazy, and I get going to other places to get things done, I don't really get it for like these experimental surgeries that like if you're trying to get a surgery that most surgeons refuse to do because they're scared they're gonna fucking like you're gonna just die on the operating table, maybe factor that in. But like surgery is like a big thing. Anytime you're going under, there's always like a level of risk. I'm so scared. I feel like there's something. Like, I feel like if I went under, I feel like my heart would not make it. Like, I'd last, like, 2 minutes and be like... And imagine, like, you just get put under and then you just... Like, that's one of my biggest fears. Like, that's so scary. Like, getting put under and then just dying. And it's, like, the last thing you feel is like... La, 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 la. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have frozen yogurt. And then your body just decays and you just go into nothingness. Like... And it's like, because you got a BBL. Like, oh my God. I can't imagine. So overall, let me end by saying, am I really worried? Am I worried that like people are going to drop everything and start doing crystal meth? Because this one guy said that he does. No. Are some people going to do it? Yes. And what's that line from the girl from High School Musical where she was like, and people are going to die, but maybe it's inevitable? Maybe if you do, maybe this is a hot take, maybe if you do crystal meth because someone said to on a podcast because it will hollow out your cheekbones, maybe that is actually natural selection. But please don't do it. Let me reinforce, please don't do it. But maybe... Anyways. Also, I'm realizing that we're now like 4 for 4 of like just doom and gloom, black pill podcast episodes. Hey, we're going to turn around and talk about something funny and silly soon. So, challenge, go out into the world and create something awesome and something silly and something fantastic. And then I'll talk about it on the podcast. And I'll say, did you guys know that someone released 35 biodegradable rubber duckies into the Jackie Kennedy pond in Central Park? And they were all different colors, and it was so cool. Then I would talk about it on the podcast. Should I start doing crystal meth? What would I look like if I started doing crystal meth? Last thing I was saying, sorry, is the crazy thing about this guy is he's like, listen, there's already, everyone has like their own insecurities that they like hold dear to their heart. But what this guy does that I think is especially sinister, and it's not just exclusive to him, it's so many people that do this kind of shtick, do this kind of grift, is they like almost create new insecurities that people didn't even know they had, which sounds crazy, but like he'll point out things about himself or like things about just like the natural like physical human male body and be like, this is bad, like this needs to be changed, when it's like literally normal, literally healthy. So please, just no matter your gender, no matter who you're watching or listening to, don't try your hardest, because I know it's like psychological warfare, but try your hardest to not let people ever influence your perception of your own body. Yeah, fuck. With that being said, I'm gonna go do some crystal manifestations with my crystals, and I'm going to think about anything but this. Hope you guys are having a good Thursday. I'll see you freaking next Thursday. Big things. My next video, let me just say, will be a gooder. Will be a big one. Not on my main channel. It's something that you guys have been asking for a very long time, and the day has finally come because it's almost the end of the year. And if I get my shit together, I can make it done in time, and I don't want to rush it, but it's coming. Big things coming. Okay. I love y'all. Bye.